Tottenham Hotspur have handed Liverpool their second loss of the season by beating them 1-0 in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down how they did it, including a highlight of the incredible talent that is Lucas Bergvall. In a game that lacks quality somewhat, you need players to stand up and be counted for, and I do think on Tottenham's side there were quite a few of them. Kinski in particular, 21 years old, making his debut for Tottenham in such an important match, not just for the team but for the club in general. I thought he did a sensational job, 6 saves in this match, really important. I thought Gray did a fantastic job of keeping Jota quiet, Jed Spence did the same, but I want to highlight Lucas Bergvall because he was the standout performer for me, and we'll get to the controversy in a little bit, but I just want to mention how well he did. The driving runs that he had past Alexis McAllister through into these channels, making sure that he rotated possession well enough through that defence. But it was his ability to drift into spaces, his tenacity, his devastating work rate. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. He created 2 big chances in this game, which is the joint highest in the entire match, and he had 3 key passes. Couple that with the fact that he had 10 duels in total, 5 of them he won. He was everywhere. He worked his socks off, and he was rewarded in the end with the goal that he scored. But let's talk about the controversy, because I know a lot of Liverpool fans, if you're watching this, will be wanting for him to have been sent off, and I can understand where you're coming from. My problem is the first foul that he created, I don't necessarily think is a yellow card, and if we're talking about that not being a yellow card, I don't really think that he should have been sent off for it. I understand that's a bit of a backwards logic, but generally I think he had a sensational game, and the controversy shouldn't take away from the amazing performance that he had, nor the goal that he scored. He was absolutely sensational. Of course, guys, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. But he was everywhere. His duel with McAllister was really interesting to watch, and I thought he won that on several occasions. He was absolutely brilliant and was the shining light for this Tottenham performance. Let me try and show you what I'm talking about. This is Lucas Bergvall, and he's closing down Cody Gakpo, who's got the ball currently. Pedro Porro is really helping with this as well, and they're driving towards that Liverpool goal. Gakpo obviously recycles possession back with the goalkeeper, but Bergvall does not give up. Look at this. He is absolutely incredible, chasing down the goalkeeper, and he manages to get there. Now, Alisson does hesitate a little bit, and I think that gives Bergvall the time and space to be able to make a challenge. But the fact that Alisson manages to stop there is really impressive. Bergvall's tenacity, though, is absolutely brilliant. Alisson then tries to go and recycle possession and progress the ball forwards, but look at Bergvall, just in case you can't see that properly. He's got up, spun round, and is now sprinting back at the goalkeeper at such a pace that he manages to then nick the ball away from Alisson and recycle it round towards his teammates. Pedro Porro makes a shot and it gets deflected off Virgil van Dijk and back to Bergvall. Now, after that sprinting run, you would be shattered, but he still has the composure to take the time, take a touch, and then play in Pedro Porro once more for another opportunity. Porro misses his chance by trying to chip Alisson. He misses the goal entirely, but Bergvall did a sensational job of creating that chance for his side. Later on in the match, Tottenham tried to expose a potential Liverpool weakness, and this was down to Wataru Endo playing instead of Jarrell Kwanzaa, who got injured earlier on in the match. Konate was on the bench, but I don't think that they wanted to risk him for the extended period of time that he would have needed to have played, and that meant that Endo needed to come into this back line. For the most part, they did a good job of defending Liverpool's quite high line, and it meant that Tottenham were being squeezed. The pitch was being squeezed, and Liverpool were doing a good job of stopping the space from being exploited. Later on in the game, though, Dominic Solanke begins to pin himself over onto Endo's side, making a run through into this channel to try and expose this space. Now, what ended up happening was that Pedro Porro managed to get a couple of opportunities on this side of the pitch, obviously where he is situated, but Diaz gets drawn in towards Bergvall, which means that Pedro Porro has enough space to try and whip this ball round into this pocket of space right here, a space where Dominic Solanke can then begin to run into, and this started to create a couple of opportunities for Tottenham, including a major chance that ended up being disallowed. Let me show the example of what I mean. So we have the build-up to Tottenham's disallowed goal, and I'm doing this to try and show you what Tottenham saw and why they were trying to focus on this particular area. So Pedro Porro has quite a bit of space to work in right now. This is because Luis Diaz has been dragged in towards Bergvall. As I mentioned previously, my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely sensational and ran the show and dominated the match for Tottenham. But Pedro Porro has a really good right foot on him, and we're going to focus on Dominic Solanke and Wataru Endo up here, because notice this Liverpool line, it's completely disjointed. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is your back four. Now they're not in line at all, they're not holding their line properly, and it means that it can be exploited, especially with the severity of how high they are. It means there's a load of space in behind, so when Pedro Porro plays that pass, Dominic Solanke can then make that run into this channel. Just so happens that he is offside, so when he takes this, runs away from the two Liverpool central defenders, it means that the goal obviously isn't going to stand. It's a fantastic finish for him down into the bottom right hand corner, but obviously it doesn't count. But it was a telltale sign for something that Tottenham were looking towards. Tottenham made 42 long passes in this game, and it just so happens that the next one managed to find the right place. This is something that I think Arne Slot noticed and wanted to correct nearly immediately, and that's why you see Wataru Endo in this central midfield position, because Ibrahima Konate was then brought on. It just so happens that it didn't necessarily make too much of a difference because of the amount of space that Pedro Porro has. Remember that cross that he made towards Dominic Solanke? It was really, really good, and he's going to do a similar thing, just lofting the ball over the top, because Tottenham are trying to exploit that extremely high Liverpool line. Again, look how high they are. They're retreating, but they're still so many yards away from where they necessarily should be if they wanted to be a bit more defensively resolute. And then you've got a foot race between Dominic Solanke and Konate. Konate might not be completely match fit, which is why this happens, but I think Dominic Solanke needs to be given a whole heap of credit here. He does a fantastic job of not only sprinting past Konate, but also utilising his strength to be able to fight off that central defender. I want you to keep your eyes on Lucas Bergvall as well, the player of the match, who was absolutely sensational, because once he notices this moment right here, once he notices this is going to go in the way of Dominic Solanke, look at his mood change, because once Dominic Solanke does this, you've got Bergvall starting to sprint, starting to get a little bit faster, and then once Solanke gets the ball, look at Bergvall's reaction. He's sprinting towards this space right here. It's so well done. It's really good. He's capitalising on that moment, but we also can't take our eyes off of Dominic Solanke, who does a sensational job of muscling away Konate, but also controlling the ball at the same time. His awareness to be able to pick his head up and find a good pass into Lucas Bergvall right here. This box right here, you've got Dominic Solanke who's playing that pass. It's really well done, and the weight of the pass is absolutely sensational because it allows Bergvall to take that shot with his first touch, and obviously he smashes it into the goal for his first goal for Tottenham. He's only 18 years old, but I think he bossed that game. He dominated that match, and he was absolutely sensational. And he was just brilliant. So were Tottenham, and they deserved that 1-0 lead in my opinion. But of course, it's only half time in the tie, and I want you guys to let me know what you think is going to happen in the next match and in the tie in general. Let me know your thoughts on this game and the one coming up in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learnt something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.